The reason I say that is there will be people, when you step out in faith and try a venture of faith and do something serving the Lord, there will be people, well-meaning maybe even, who will come and try to throw their stuff on you. Make you do what they do because they think that's what's right, even though that thing may have already failed. What do you mean, Brett? Oh, you can fill in the blank. In many of our lives, we have examples that, let me give you an example in my little microcosm. The Lord stirred my heart to go up and start teaching the Bible and start a church in this area. And the Lord put it on my heart to fight for simplicity and just to teach verse by verse through the Bible and just go right through the scriptures. And not have a ton of programs, not have a bunch of things that are, traditions of men as it relates to church. And so the Lord has allowed me to be able to just see his mighty hand in blessing this. And it's been really cool to see what God has done. However, over the years, there's always people trying to throw their armor on me and our leadership team here at Athey Creek. What do you mean, Brett? Well, you guys, you know what you need? You need committees. We don't have committees. Why not? Because they're not in the Bible. But they're in churches. Yeah, how are those working? Have you ever noticed how committees don't work in churches? How many of you guys have been part of church committees before? I'm so sorry. Man, it's amazing you're still even walking with the Lord. Committees are, how many of you guys had a bad experience with church committees? Raise your hand. Yeah, see, same group, yeah. The Bible doesn't say anything about committees. That's an invention of man. What the Bible actually says is a plurality of elders serving together. That's what the Bible teaches. It says nothing about committees and voting and all that stuff. It's a plurality of leadership working together, and it's a unanimous decision. The decisions the church makes is a group of elders agreeing together to move in a direction. And I'm so blessed to have that group of guys here at Athey Creek, but it's amazing how many times, Brett, we need to have a pulpit committee or this committee or that committee. And I just say, man, that armor has not been proved. And it's shown pretty much not to work against Goliath. But you know what? The simplicity, what did David have? David didn't have a fancy helmet and a spear and a sword and all that stuff. He had a stick and a sling. And that's going to prove perfectly effective for what God had in mind. And I think in a lot of ways, and I really am not meaning to knock churches with committees. I'm just saying I'm so thankful that I don't have to put that armor on because the Bible doesn't tell us we have to put that on. It's funny in people's preconceived, Brett, you need a suit. I don't have to put that armor on. Doesn't fit very well. But I feel real happy in shorts. Oh, but Brett, some of you are even stressed right now because I'm talking about that. Isn't it funny? In the previous chapter, we saw Eliab, the older brother. Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, and he goes to Eliab and says, surely this is the guy that's the next king of Israel. And the Lord said, gong, that's not him. And what did God say to Samuel? He said, man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart of man. It's a funny thing where human tradition puts suits on to go to church. That's a human tradition. And Jesus low profiles the clothing thing when he said, don't take any thought about what you're going to eat or drink tomorrow, what you're going to wear. The early church came to church in their normal everyday clothes. So I'm not arguing against suits and ties. That's great if you want to do that and dress up nicely. I understand that's a good thing, but don't superimpose your thing and tradition of man on everybody else. Make sure if you're going to make an argument that it's a biblical argument, not just a human tradition argument. By the way, I love the heart of the people of this fellowship. I'm not trying to pat us on the back. I'm just saying that while we may look like a ragtag group, most of us, I look at you guys and think, wow, whew, boy. Some of you are dressed nicely, and I commend you. But here's the thing. I've seen some very sincere people who've been dressed to the nines in their heart, saying, man, I'm coming to worship God, and I love Jesus with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength. The clothes really don't speak of the person. Don't judge the book by the cover. That's something we learn out of the book of 1 Samuel, a lot actually. We'll see Goliath make that mistake here in just a second.